Hi, welcome. In this tutorial, we'll talk about how we can place our pivot patterns correctly on our fabric before we cut them out. So we'd like to take a closer look at our fabric. The first thing we want to know about our fabric is to identify the selvages. Okay, selvages are the self-finished edges of a fabric. So if I take a look at the blue one, the solid color one, you can see that there is an edge where it does not fray. That is not the edge where the fabric store has cut the fabric from. That's the edge. And the cut edge may fray. So we're not talking about that edge that was cut, but rather the edge that's usually on the lengthwise where it's finished and it does not fray. And you should be able to find two parallel edges that are like so. So this is what we call selvage. Right? You may encounter other types of selvages. So if you can look at this is a printed fabric, and you can see that sometimes the print or the motifs are not printed into the selvages. So this is our selvage. Sometimes you can see that there are fibers at the edge of the selvage, but you can give them a tug, it does not fray. Okay, so this is what we call a self-finished edge or the selvage. So once we have identified the selvages, the most common layout would be straight grain layout. That's when you lined up two parallel sides of the selvages right on top of each other. And you really want to do a good job. There shouldn't be any twists on the folded edge. You shouldn't end up with twists in the folded edge where the fabric doesn't want to lie flat. So you have to arrange it such that the selvages can come together and your folded edge is smooth and flat. Okay, let me just flip this around and you can take a look. So this is my selvage now, and this is my folded edge, and you can see the cut edge doesn't line up, and that's okay. Okay, that's where the store cut it for you, and they may not necessarily be straight. Okay, so what we need to concern ourselves is that our selvages is right on top of each other, and then the folded edge is not twisted. So we call this the full straight grain layout. So in some situations, you may not want to use the full straight grain layout. In that case, you might use a partial one, where the selvages doesn't come together. There's a little offset. In this case, you have to measure at the top and at the bottom of the piece of fabric that you have, and make sure that the distance between the two selvages are consistent down the length of the fabric. Okay, if it's not, you are to adjust until they are parallel again. Once you've decided whether you want to do the full straight grain layout or the partial straight grain layout, we can now take a look at our pattern. So I've chosen to do the full straight grain layout for the next example. So this is my pattern. Okay, so on all patterns, you need to have the grain line. The grain line is a double arrowed line. Okay, and that tells you how to place this particular paper pattern with respect to your fabric. Okay, the grain line of that pattern has to be parallel to the selvage. Okay, in this case, where I place it, I would usually measure at the top of my grain line. Okay, and I need to make sure that as I go down the grain line, I remain at a consistent distance from the selvage. Only then can I say that the pattern piece has been laid on correctly with respect to the grain line. Okay, once you have make sure that the distance between the grain line and the selvages are consistent down the grain line, you can pin this up and we can cut it out from the fabric. So that's all I want to say about fabric layout for today.